Okay, we've arrived at Gray Bay near Sandspit, Moresby Island, Queen Charlotte Islands, which are now Haida G'Waii. What's that?
They gave the name back.
They gave the name back, yeah. They actually had a ceremony. It used to be Queen Charlotte Islands, and the Haida people have given the name back to the colonial invaders, and
That's us.
that's us. And it's now Haida G'Waii, and this is our chosen campsite. We checked out all the other campsites, and this one is absolutely primo. We have a little covered tent area.
That's not ours.
This one's here's ours. We're right on the river, and we're right on the ocean. All right, now we're gonna set up camp. It's a little camp. It rains a fair bit here. When it does rain, it just starts pouring, so we've got the sun shelter over top of the tent just to be on the safe side. There's the rope swing, and we've got potable wash water down there. Well, I guess it doesn't make it potable, but it's water for washing. That's a little creek going in there. And then here's our view. Oh my gosh. So we're here for the next 3 days, and I am definitely going to get on that rope swing. Looks pretty solid. There's the launching point. Someone got up really early this morning and went out and dip netted us a whole pile of crabs to eat today. Just enough for us to eat, not to cart around with us, because we can pretty much get fresh crabs every day. So I've got my little crab bucket here, and then we'll go have a little feast. Well, I was getting some water from a creek about 20-kilometer round trip away. Somebody was sitting down here having a little snack. And there's little crabs cleaned. Crabby. Those 4 crabs disappeared in a heartbeat, so we're coming back in, and somebody's gonna go back out and catch us some more crabs to eat. I've got a pet raven already, which is pretty awesome. I made a little landing pad for him so he can locate it from the air a lot easier, instead of having to scramble around the beach trying to find them. I'm finishing off some cherries, waiting for the raven to go get his. Oh yeah, he spotted them. Look at, there he goes. He's wondering why he's getting his cherries in a dish. Yeah. There's a bald eagle sitting up in the tree up there. Sitting on him. There he is. So he's taken an interest because all the crab shells are down on the beach here, and he might try and get some snacks, or he might go after the cherries, but I kind of doubt that. So I just filled up the cherry dish again, and the raven is squawking around up there, and I'm sure he's going to come in for another feed here. He came down when we were busy setting up the tents. So Haida G'Waii is probably the Canadian Hawaii. The water is beautiful. I would go swimming in there. It's about 17 degrees here in air temperature, which is pretty nice. And the Haida people are actually genetically different from the First Nations or Aboriginals that are on the mainland of Canada, and they're closer to the Polynesian Hawaiians, including with their shipbuilding. Their canoes are very similar to the Polynesian canoes, like from Hawaii, and This place is just gorgeous. When it's sunny out, I'll take another video, but holy smokes. Anybody viewing from Canada, this is Grey Bay on the Haida G'Waii, and it is taking the Skidegate ferry over to Alaford Bay to Sandspit, and the beach just goes on and on forever. And there are campsites. There's about 20 campsites here, and it's the long weekend and there's hardly any people here. It's just amazing. We're definitely on the more secluded end. It's a little windier where we are because we're more exposed. We're not in the trees. A lot of the campsites down at this other end in here, they're all less exposed, I think, with the trees. But I like the breeze off the ocean, and we can handle it. It's not going to be too stormy. In fact, there's a high pressure system building right over there, and that is going to be expected here in, probably by tomorrow. So it's going to be pretty awesome, and we're going to be here for 3 days. And here comes the high pressure system, starting to feel more and more like Hawaii. Right? It's the Canadian Hawaii. What do you mean? Look, we should go surfing out there. Here's our little Canadian logging truck. Cart was my idea. It's my gun cart. It came in so handy. Somebody else didn't want to bring the cart along. What are we going to use that for? Hey? Here we are on Secret Cove, and this is just around the corner. That's Grey Bay there at the far side, and then we went around this little cove here, and it's called Secret Cove, and it's just gorgeous beach. And another big surprise was, I have to be careful when I'm stepping, all these little crabs running around. Hi there, little crab. Get them close up. Let's see if I can pet the little crab. Hi. Hi, little crab. Oh, you're so nice. There's another one of his buddies. There's a bigger buddy of his. Hey, how you doing there? Are you alive? Oh, he's sort of alive. He doesn't want to be bothered, probably. Anyways, they're all over this beach. It's crazy. So there's, oh, look at this guy here. He's moving around. Careful I don't step on any. He's hiding underneath this piece of kelp. Here's the eye to the camera. So this whole beach is just piles and piles of these little tiny crabs. I'm not sure if they're indigenous or what they are. They might turn into be... Oh, look at this guy running. He's fast. He's really fast. He wants to get away. Hi, get away. Here, run. Are you freezing? Fight or flight. Ooh, look at you, you're a big one. Hi, are you resting? Oh, I'm sorry I disturbed you. You go back to resting. Last day at Grey Bay. It is a gray day. The point is really rocky, and so we've decided to beach ourselves a little bit further down. It's a bit of a steep beach, not too bad. Yeah, and it'll be a pretty good paddle back as well. Lots of firewood. we're just coming down this area here, and these are all the markers for all the RVs and boats and trailers that have gone over the embankment here down this 25% grade. You can see them all lining up here, and then there was more on top. That'll make it really good. I'm on a hiking trail heading down to Bonanza Beach, which is in Reynolds Sound. So far, not overwhelmed by Reynolds Sound. The water is pretty sporty, lots of swells, and not great for paddleboarding. Not sure how long we're going to stay down here, maybe one more night, and then we're going to head up to Queens Charlotte City and do some crabbing again. It's really pretty in here though, lots of old growth forest. It's been logged, obviously, but stuff's starting to come back. So I guess it really isn't old growth forest anymore because it has been logged. So this is regen here, and doesn't look like it's been planted. Looks like it's just naturally made its way back again. And so let's have a look at Bonanza Beach. It's a nice little trail here. It's 450 meters from the parking spot to the beach. Growth forest, so you can see the size of these cedar trees here in the background. And here's another one. This one is forked. You can see how high they get. And this is very common with cedar trees, is that they start to split and grow two tops, and this is probably why it hasn't been cut, because these are definitely widow makers. Trees with two tops there, the logger could have one top going in one direction and the other one breaking off down that fault line there and dropping on him. But there's a little tiny den in here for some little critter, but very pretty in here. But again, pretty underwhelmed by Reynolds Sound so far. Not great beaches, big surfing breaks. I can see why people come down here in the winter time to surf, but not great for going out paddleboarding. Some interesting features. Those are burls. So that big wart basically sticking off of that tree, and there's burls kind of everywhere. What loggers did do was cut them out, and then they would carve them, and they make beautiful bowls because the grain pattern in them is quite unique. So that's a huge burl. Man, if I could cut that off, I would take that home and carve it out. And there's another one back there. And yeah, like a forest full of burls. Those, I'm not sure what that burl would fetch, but if you carved that out and made a big bowl out of it, it'd be pretty nice. Alrighty. So we're just about on to Bonanza Beach here. There is, I think, one camping spot here. I don't think anybody's camping, but yeah, you can see that the rollers are pretty brisk. Still very pretty. And we managed to hook up with some friends of ours from where we live. They're joining us on the campsite. So there's a little beach there and a beach there. Cool little rock formations here. Obviously these rocks have been just scoured out and polished smooth over time. I'll go down there and check it out. Yeah, it's just smooth as can be. I think this is a type of a jasper rock. Pretty neat. Oh! They're some kind of suckers. They're all growing in there. They must be wet enough for them to stay in here for a while. These guys dried out a bit.
Like nothing.
Just around Keegan Bay, and we are picking oysters. Tide is at low tide right now, and those islands there are where the seals were, and they're pretty much both above water, quite high. A bunch of birds just flew by. Lots of sea life below me. Went over a few crabs that didn't like getting disturbed by the paddleboard, but this is just amazing here, like absolutely amazing. It's getting dark. This is the latest we've ever been out paddling, but it's just stunning here, like absolutely stunning. There's my FJ. There's the crab pot marker. Hi, bird. Oh, you got a fish. Look at you. Well, that was cool. There's a ton of these little black fish in this eelgrass, I think they call it, and I couldn't believe how much fish there. So this, if Keegan Bay has one downside, it's the water access when it's low tide. It is heinous. So we actually park at that point and then drop the paddle boards in and then paddle out. And I had my paddleboard up fairly high enough on the beach, and now it's starting to go out to sea without me, so I better hurry along here. Well, as I was back to the campsite, we were out on those islands over there and walking back to the campsite, and a raven was like seriously 6 feet away from me, and I had forgotten the camera back at the campsite, and that's why I was heading back through this sufferfest here to get the camera. But oh my gosh, yeah, that was pretty cool. And I just talked to him a little bit and pretty much ignored him otherwise, and he just kept pecking away for whatever he was pecking away at there. Probably there's little crabs in here, there's clams. We got a big pile of oysters for tonight, or tomorrow morning. We had them for breakfast, so that's pretty neat. That eagle was super cool though. Man, that was so worth it. It's so beautiful here. I think next time we come out here, it will definitely be the longer portion of the trip. But we might even just end up camping here and then traveling from this point, because really it's only a matter of an hour and a half to get to the top of the island from the bottom of the island. So easy travels. Most people commute longer than that. Anyways, I better get my boat before it floats away on me. Tide's coming up fast. Side of Skidegate, and these people here are all dip netting for crabs, and I didn't see where I'm supposed to go because I was busy talking to some tourists, which we are too, obviously. And now I need to go find, I'm gonna probably assume he's out there solitary. Maybe that guy over there. Oh yeah. Woo. Net. Oh, and both males too. It's perfect. You can tell they're males because their little flappy thing there looks like a penis. Caught crab right here. He was, oh, look at him. He's mad. He's a mad crab. I found him on the shore here. He was kissing this female crab, and so I picked him up and turned him over, and sure enough it was a male and she was a female, and now he's in the bucket and he's gonna get eaten. Sorry, crab, ruined your musical or your romantic interlude there. Very sad for you, but you're gonna taste good tonight. So I think 3 crabs is the limit for today. Hey guys, how's it going? You're still flashing your little antenna at me, hey? Yeah, jammed in there. Hold the camera. Seal. Oh! Just chilling. We paddled a ways away from the Kagan Bay, and we're just going around these little islands now. Paddled on this little island close to Kagan Bay, and there's all of these little islets, if that's the right word, and we found this really cool little spot, which I think we're planning on doing a one-day camping trip away from the camping. So we're gonna bring along our smaller 2-person tent along, and then set it up here away from high tide point, and just camp out for a night away from the campsite. Pretty cool. Really, really cool. So lots of little islands to keep exploring. There's some more down around this corner here, and there's also more on the other side. I had a big sap stain. Oh, there's a duck out in the water there. I don't know, some sort of seabird. Looked like sap on the lens, so I hope my videos haven't been too cloudy and obscured. But anyways, yeah, there's some crab traps out there. I'm not sure what that is, if that's a bit of a float. More little islands. And more islands. Yeah, it's so cool. That might be a murrelet. There's a raven somewhere. So the Canadian painter Emily Carr spent a lot of time on Haida G'Waii painting, and I can see why. It's really, really magical here. Some sort of watercraft is definitely a bonus to have. We're discovering that instead of having the razor, we've got the paddle boards now, and hands down, this is the best trip to Haida G'Waii ever. Kagan Bay is down over in that area there. You can see Seal Rock, and there's the cheap RV living camper guys down there. Some of them are living off grid now for about 2 years, which is pretty awesome. Just living off the land, collecting crabs and harvesting oysters off the rocks, and really self-sustaining, not paying any taxes. And I think that's probably freedom at its essence, you know, where you're not having to rely on any sort of financial currency. He collects pop bottles and gets his money every month. I think he makes about $800 in pop bottles, and that's what he lives off of. And a lot of people just give him the pop bottles. He doesn't even have to go and collect them. They just bring them to him. So that's pretty cool. And really, you don't need a lot of money to live out here. You need to have you know, a shelter, which he has shelter, and you need to have some food. You can collect most of your food. We picked up 3 crab today. 2 were dip netted, and I picked up the one off the beach really easily by hand, and lots of oysters. So, you know, it's a seafood diet really out here. Lots of game too. Oh my gosh, we've seen so much deer. So if you have a 22, you can easily bag yourself a deer here and there. You know, and then probably preserve it in some way, maybe smoke it so that it stays edible for long. They're not very big. They're only about the size of, you know, a little Great Dane, most of them. But anyways, yeah, last day here. Tomorrow we pack up from the camp and then head into town, and then off on the ferry on Monday again. It'd be sad to leave, but all good things must come to an end. This will be 11 days that we've been traveling on this island, and so worth it. This is probably the best trip ever. All right, thanks for watching. But this is a really cool feature. This is all crushed shell. No, it's not crushed shit. It's crushed shells, and it's just not really crushed very well. And it's coarse. Yeah, it's not like a really fine shell beaches. Yeah, but it's kind of cool. It's a pretty cool little island for sure. And there's Bird Island and there's Seal Island. So I thought this was Seal Island, but it's not. Oh, look at those seals out there. Nosy buggers. Hey there, you guys. Oh, he just went under the water. And then there's some weird current flowing through here, which is kind of interesting. All right, back on the boards. There, grab him by the bum. There we go. Hi there. He's the keeper.
In the bucket.
In the bucket. Bye bye, Crabby. Yeah, in you go.
Cooking crab.
Bye, crabs. Bye, crabs. Bye, crabs.
Oh,
Ooh, head first.
Oh, that can't feel good.
No. I'm sure. Hi crab, bye crab. Hi big crab, bye big crab.
Oh, just about got you.
Put him in head first. Then it's over fast. There we go. Where's the artist is setting in. Alright, thank you.
Any comments?
Poor crabs. But we're going to enjoy eating them.
Yum yum.
Yum, yum, yum. That was fun. This was a wonderful trip. So glad I could share it with you.
Nice.
So we came across these little connected islands. I came to this one. I'm calling this one Seal Island because this morning we scared a bunch of seals off of it, but it's just loaded with scallops. Or not scallops, I should say, oysters. So let's see, here's one. That one's loose. I'm not going to pick that one, but there's that one on there. And all of these islands here are just loaded with oysters. So I don't know what this one's called. Oh, this one's not connected to Tree Island. Anyways, let's get some picking done. So that's my little catch of oysters. I think I must have about, I don't know, a lot. That was about 15, I think about 15 in there. It was so easy and there were so many still there of the oysters, and I just felt terrible picking them as easily as I did. There was no real work to that.